Prague's reputation is all bridges and beer, but underneath that, a 700-year-old alchemy lab buried beneath its streets, the oldest active synagogue in Europe, and a chapel decorated with the bones of 40,000 people an hour outside the city. Here are 3 days that actually find Prague. Day 1. Bridges, Clockwork, and the Old Town Loop. Your first morning starts early, and we are staying exclusively on the right bank of the Vltava River the entire day. Get to Charles Bridge before 7 a.m. Yes, it's early, but by 8 a.m., the umbrella-wielding tour groups will have completely taken over. At dawn, you're only sharing those 30 Baroque statues with dedicated photographers and a few pigeons. Walk it, grab your photos, and then turn back to the Old Town side. Do not cross to the Lesser Town Bank. That's tomorrow's route. Steps away is Old Town Square, where you'll come face to face with the astronomical clock. The Apostle procession fires every hour on the hour. The 2 windows open, 12 figures shuffle past, death rings a bell, a golden rooster crows, and 45 seconds later, hundreds of tourists lower their phones, wondering if they missed the big finale. It's hilariously anticlimactic, but you have to see it. Get there 10 minutes early for a good sightline. Afterwards, climb the tower for panoramic views of the city. Insider tip. This is one of the rare times analog beats digital. The physical box office line is usually under 10 minutes, and the online skip-the-line ticket costs you more. From the square, make your way into the Jewish Quarter, home to one of Europe's densest collections of Jewish historical sites. A single ticket grants access to them all, including the Old New Synagogue, Europe's oldest active synagogue. Don't miss the Pinkas Synagogue, a profoundly moving Holocaust memorial where over 77,000 Bohemian and Moravian victims' names are handwritten on the walls. Just outside, the Old Jewish Cemetery offers a striking sense of history, with roughly 12,000 tombstones layered atop centuries of burials spanning 300 years. By now, you've earned a break, and conveniently, you are by Dlouhá Street, which is where we're anchoring the rest of the day. Head inside the Gastro Passage arcade to Naše Maso. It's a butcher shop counter serving what locals swear is Prague's best beef tartare and burgers. If you want something lighter, check out Sister's Bistro down the hall. They reinvent the traditional Czech open-faced sandwich with delicious in-house baked bread. With a few hours to spare before dinner, head to nearby Hashtalska Street to explore the Speculum Alchemiae. As an authentic 16th century underground alchemy laboratory built for King Rudolph II, it features secret doors and hidden tunnels that remained forgotten until the 2002 floods revealed them. It's a 30-minute underground detour before your evening pint. To wrap up day 1, you barely have to move. Head back out onto Dlouhá Street for dinner at Lokál. This pub is an absolute machine. It stretches 70 meters and serves up to 1,300 guests a day, pouring unpasteurized Pilsner straight from the tank. Order the Czech national dish, braised beef sirloin in a cream sauce with bread dumplings, cranberries, and whipped cream. It sounds like a chaotic Thanksgiving leftover plate, but trust us, it works. And if you want to save some cash, remember that shifting your heavy meals like this to midday will usually cut your food bill in half. Tomorrow, we'll cross the river and tackle the sprawling castle complex, but we're doing it entirely downhill so you never have to climb the same steep slope twice. If you enjoy itineraries built on logistics instead of just pretty adjectives, hit subscribe. Watching on TV? Scan the QR code to save this channel to your phone. Every destination we cover is built around the logistics that help you plan and enjoy your trip. Day 2, the top-down castle and the quiet left bank. Today, the strategy is entirely vertical, starting at the highest point in central Prague and walking downhill all the way to the river, hitting every major site in sequence without retracing a single steep step. To get up there, most tourists try to take Tram 22, but due to ongoing track reconstruction, it's a mess. Instead, take Metro Line A to Hradčanská Station. From there, it's about a 15-minute walk south across the Powder Bridge that brings you to the northern entrance of the castle complex. Try to get there by 9 a.m. to beat the tour bus wave that hits around 10. The good news is the old security gate queues are finally gone, though you might still catch a quick random spot check on your way in. Buy your main circuit mobile ticket online before you even walk through the gates to bypass the physical box office lines. This gets you into the old royal palace, St. George's Basilica, and the royal crypt, so you'll want to take your time here. You also get access to Golden Lane, a charming row of colorful 16th century miniature houses. House number 22 is where Franz Kafka lived and wrote for a few years. Insider tip: while the main circuit ticket is 100% worth it to see everything, if you are on a budget, the front nave of the St. Vitus Cathedral is free to enter. You can still get those soaring Gothic interior shots without spending a single crown. 2 lunch options. To soak in some views, head outside the gates to Kukin on Hradčanské Square. They serve local dishes based on 16th century aristocratic recipes on a gorgeous terrace. Walk 5 minutes over to Učerné Vola for a no-frills pub pouring dark beer and serving crispy fried cheese. Save your knees and start that downhill stroll. Before you hit the bridge tower, take the stairs down to Kampa Island, a much quieter pocket of the city where you'll find the Lennon wall sitting directly across the narrow canal. While you're exploring the area, spot David Czerny's bizarre giant crawling baby sculptures sitting outside Museum Kampa. Nearby, Prague's narrowest street leads to Vinárna Čertovka, a gap between buildings so tight it has its own pedestrian traffic light, a very necessary safety feature if you had 2 plates of bread dumplings for lunch. A quick heads up, the Petrin Hill funicular is closed for renovations through summer 2026. Check current status before you go, as the climb on its own may not be worth the trip. To wrap up your left bank conquest, make sure you've locked in a reservation at Lokál u Bílé Kuželky, right here in Malá Strana. Yes, it's another Lokál location, but this specific spot pours what is widely considered the best tank-fresh Pilsner in the city. Their Skičkova cream sauce and tart cranberry compote are so perfectly executed that even Prague City Tourism officially highlights this spot. Just like that, you've knocked out Prague's heaviest hitters, and thanks to that top-down route, your calves didn't even have to work for it. For day 3, we are leaving the postcard perimeter entirely, going south to a cliffside fortress, and diving into the neighborhoods where Czech is the only language on the menu. Day 3, the fortress above the city and the real Prague. Start your morning by taking Metro Line C to Vyšehrad station and going straight through the Tabor Gate. You are now stepping into Vyšehrad Fortress, Prague's original citadel that predates the castle you conquered yesterday. The fortification walls are fully walkable and offer panoramic views of the city skyline and the Vltava River that rival anything from Prague Castle. Plus, the grounds are open 24/7, completely free, and blissfully void of umbrella-waving tour guides. If you want a cool subterranean detour, head into the Gorlice Hall inside the casemates to see 6 of the original Baroque statues safely hidden away from the elements after being removed from the Charles Bridge. Beside the basilica, you'll find the Vyšehrad Cemetery, basically the Czech Hall of Fame. It's the resting place of legends like composers Antonín Dvořák and Bedřich Smetana, as well as Karel Čapek, the legendary writer who introduced the word robot to the world after his brother Josef coined it. The Slaven tomb holds 56 of the country's most celebrated figures, and the entire cemetery is free to walk through. Afterwards, take the brick gate steps straight down to the riverbank and hit the Náplavka promenade. If you happen to be doing this on a Saturday morning, you are in luck. The farmers market will be in full swing from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. with over 90 stalls selling smoked meats, fresh pastries, and yes, morning beer, which is a perfectly acceptable local breakfast choice here. If it's not a Saturday, don't worry. The embankment's permanent vaults still house fantastic year-round bars and bistros right on the water. When you're ready for lunch, duck into Ukroka. It's been operating on a cobblestone street below the fortress since 1895, and it's tucked far enough away from the tourist zones. They serve up hearty roasted pork knee and dark lager, rabbit loin wrapped in bacon, and a garlic soup called česnečka, guaranteed to clear your sinuses. To burn off that pork knee, spend your afternoon exploring Havlíčkový Sady, also known locally as Grybovka, a gorgeous Italian Renaissance-inspired park that leads you into the Vinohrady neighborhood. Not only does it have an artificial cave to explore, but it also features its own working historical vineyard. You can literally sit at the wooden pavilion and drink a glass of local wine made from the vines growing below you, with the entire city in the background. After the vineyard, stop at Kuželky in Vyšehrad for the real Czech koláč. Soft yeast pastries topped with sweet curd, poppy seeds, or seasonal fruit. Unlike the trendy turtleneck, these authentic treats sell out fast on weekends, so plan accordingly. Insider tip: to try the local equivalent of a profiterole, seek out a wiertnik. The gold standard is Cukrar na Míšank, near Wenceslas Square, a legendary spot that has been operating since 1904. To celebrate your final night, stay here in Vyšehrad for dinner at Lokál Koruni. Since this is the neighborhood outpost, it's packed with locals. You're ordering the Vepro Knedlo Zelo, a massive plate of roast pork with dumplings and sauerkraut that stands out as the other heavy-hitting Czech national dish. If you want an even cheaper, ultra-local alternative nearby, check out Restaurante Pastička. It's a classic basement pub with hunting lodge decor where you can easily get 2 mains and 2 beers for under 400 crowns. That officially wraps up your core 3 days in Prague. Don't click away yet. Next, our survival guide covers a citywide e-scooter ban, wallet-draining blue ATMs, and if you have a 4th day, a chapel decorated with 40,000 bones, plus the local train trick to skip the usual 20-minute walk. When you land at the airport, forget everything you've read online about Bus 119, because it's been entirely replaced by Trolleybus 59. It takes the exact same route to the metro, meaning you only need a single 90-minute ticket to get all the way downtown. And whatever you do, skip the direct airport express bus unless you enjoy paying double the price for the same route. Before you even board your flight, make sure you download mapy.cz for navigation and PED Litačka for your transit tickets. Mapy routes you through pedestrian alleys Google Maps misses. For transit, buy the 72-hour pass on Litačka and activate it 1 minute before boarding. There's a mandatory security delay, and inspectors will fine you if they catch you during that countdown. Once you're in the city, avoid those bright blue and orange Euronet ATMs like the plague. They aggressively hide the decline conversion button and will happily slap you with a 13 to 14% markup for the privilege of accessing your own money. Stick to local bank machines like Česká spořitelna or Komerční banka, and always choose to pay in local Czech crowns. Finally, if you were planning on zipping around town on a rental e-scooter, you'll need a new plan. Prague banned all shared e-scooters from the historic center in January 2026, meaning your dreams of narrowly dodging cobblestone wipeouts are officially over. Bonus: the Bone Church, if you have extra time. If you have a 4th day to spare, taking a morning trip an hour east to Kutná Hora is absolutely worth your time, and the backstory alone justifies the train ride. It starts in 1278 when a monk brought back a jar of soil from Golgotha and scattered it over the local cemetery. Word spread, people traveled from across Central Europe just to be buried here. Then the Black Plague hit and the cemetery ran out of room. The solution? Dig everyone up, stack the bones, and build a chapel around them. In 1870, a woodcarver named František Rint was hired to put the bones in order. The result is a chandelier containing at least one of every bone in the human body, 6 enormous bone pyramids, and chains of skulls hung wall to wall. He signed his name on the wall in bone when he was done. Getting there efficiently requires one specific insider trick. When you buy your morning train ticket from Prague's main station, make sure your destination is set to Kutná Hora Město instead of the main station, as this includes a transfer to a single-car shuttle train that meets you on the platform when you arrive. Remember, it's a request stop, so you have to press the button or it will blow right past Sedlec. That shuttle saves you the 20-minute walk from Kutná Hora's main station to the Bone Church, a detour every guidebook assumes you'll make. Book your timed entry tickets online weeks in advance and keep your phone in your pocket. Photography inside is strictly banned. Your best move is the 3-top combined ticket, which also gets you into St. Barbara's Cathedral in the town center, a stunning Gothic UNESCO masterpiece. There we have it, 3 days and 2 riverbanks without backtracking. You've navigated the medieval core like a local, eaten the real pastries, and skipped the worst tourist traps in the city. If you're continuing your trip through Central Europe, check out our Vienna guide linked in the end screen for a deep dive into Habsburg palaces, coffeehouse rituals, and the opera strategy that gets you world-class acoustics at standing room prices. Links to the notable attractions from this guide are waiting for you in the description below, and we'll see you in the next one.